The shift has begun, and nothing in heaven or earth can stop it when God says your suffering has reached its limit. No one sees that moment, but the unseen realm stands still as if a mighty hand has been placed upon your life and speaks one word sharp enough to cut every chain that held you. Enough. Not enough because you are strong, not enough because you are ready, but because God sees what you have carried for too long, things that were never yours to bear, and He decides that He Himself will step in and change the direction. Psalm 37:4 says, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." But how can you delight when your whole life has been spent standing in the thin place between light and darkness, trying not to fall, trying to keep your heart from breaking, trying to keep your smile from turning into a cry for help? And then, right when you have grown familiar with the dark, this movement begins. You do not know that all this time heaven and earth have watched every step you took, every breath you held so you would not collapse. You thought it was only a string of meaningless trials, too long, too heavy to understand their purpose. You did not know that the long silence was the very thing that caused heaven to lean toward you. You lived like someone standing backstage, watching the lives of others shine, while you carried a light everyone could see but pretended not to notice. The nights you stayed awake were not because of worry, but because of a question that never had an answer. Why do I have to endure so much? No complaint, no rebellion, only a persistence people call strength, but God calls a burden beyond measure. There are people who see you and think you are calm. They do not see the moments you fought to keep your mind steady, to hide a heart swollen with disappointment and loss. They think you are strong because you do not speak, do not complain, do not cry for help. But God sees it all. He sees the moments you wanted to give up, the times you sat in the dark holding back a sigh because no one understood what you were facing. He sees the seasons when you no longer believed in goodness, yet still took one more step because you did not want to break a promise. And because He sees everything, He says enough. No season from now on is allowed to look like the seasons before. No one is allowed to control, restrain, or diminish your true worth. When God says enough, the universe does more than shift the wind. It changes the sky above you. The things that once blocked your path, closed doors, missed chances, people turning away, words that made you shrink, all become witnesses of a movement nothing can stop. You once thought you were born to stand behind, to lose, to carry what had no name. But God sees you as someone holding a flame the world was not worthy to recognize sooner. He does not call you to rise for battle. He lifts you because your time has come. This is not a reward. This is justice. You have lived too long in the gray place where even you did not know how strong you were. There are things you accomplished that no one praised, sacrifices you made that no one cared to understand, wounds you hid because you did not want anyone to see you breaking. You chose silence not because you were weak, but because you did not know how powerful your voice was. And God sees something you have never seen in yourself. Your silence is evidence of a mature soul, not a fragile one. But He will not let you live in that silence forever. There is something you never see but is always there. Heaven leans toward the one who endures for too long without losing their heart. You walk through the dark like someone carrying a small lamp that never went out, and that alone made heaven open a way. Not the loud ones, not the demanding ones, not those who insist on having everything their way, but you, the patient one, the quiet one, the one who endures, the one who chooses to pause instead of strike back, the one who plants goodness where no one expects it to grow. People like you, God lifts with His hand, not with chance. On the day He says enough, the air around you changes. You begin to see that what once caused you pain is what prepared you. You understand that silence did not mean you were forgotten. It meant you were set apart. The years others saw as wasted, God saw as time for roots to grow. And now when he says enough, those roots must rise, must become a tree, must meet the light. He brings you out of the shadow you did not know you lived in. And in that lifting, your place is no longer behind. This is not a new chapter. This is a new height. When God lifts you, no one can pull you down. When he closes an old season, no one can reopen it. When he opens a door for you, no force can shut it. The only thing left is for you to step in, not with fear, but with the peace of someone who knows they never walk alone. And this is only the beginning. Psalm 25:14 speaks of something you have lived through without realizing it. The secret counsel of the Lord belongs to those who fear him. You once thought you were only trying to survive, trying to keep balance between responsibility and exhaustion. But in truth, you were walking inside a sacred place that only the chosen understand. There are things you carried for years, believing they were simply your duty, but deep within, God knew you had sacrificed too much. You gave your time, your strength, your peace, even exchanged your own dreams so others could be well. You made yourself smaller to keep harmony, stepped back so no one would be hurt, took on more so no one else would feel overwhelmed. And in all of this, you thought you were just being responsible, but God saw you fading. You became so used to standing in the place of support that you forgot your own soul has weight. You grew accustomed to holding back your true desires so nothing would be disrupted. You accepted unreasonable demands, expectant looks, relationships that only took and never gave. You turned yourself into a foundation for the world, but no one noticed that the one who lifts can also tremble. You did not want to burden anyone, so you smiled while your heart grew heavy. You did not want to disappoint anyone, so you stayed silent even when you were hurting. You did not want anyone to think you were weak, so you endured in the dark so others could live in the light. But God did not create you to run dry. He did not form you to be a source for everyone while no one became a source for you. He did not call you to be a bridge others cross and then leave behind. He did not design you to live forever in survival mode, but to step into presence mode, where you live aligned with purpose, aligned with your gifts, aligned with what he placed in you from the beginning. For a long time, you did not feel lost, but the truth is you were lost in responsibilities that were not yours, lost in relationships that demanded without knowing how to give back, lost in the role of the strongest one, the one who could take the most, the one who never said enough. And because you would never say enough, God said it for you. God's reset is not like the reset of people. People think reset means starting again, but God resets by cutting away what you could never walk away from. You might not dare to close a door, but he closes it for you. You might not dare to say no, but he lifts you out of places where you do not belong. You might not dare to release the weight, but he opens your hands so your soul can breathe. He does not ask if you are ready, because he knows you would never choose yourself first. He knows that without his intervention, you would keep living for others until nothing was left for you. So when he says enough, the first thing he does is not lifting you up, but taking you out of the expectations of others, taking you out of the strong role you no longer have the strength to carry, taking you out of endless sacrifice that wears your heart down piece by piece, taking you out of the need to please everyone so no one gets disappointed, taking you out of the role of carrying burdens that were never yours. You may not notice it, but lately you have started to feel distant from things that once felt familiar. Conversations you used to maintain now feel heavy. Relationships you once felt responsible for now leave you drained for reasons you cannot explain. Work that once made you proud no longer fits you the same. This is not you being inconsistent. This is your soul being reset. When God shifts your direction, everything else must shift with it. And when He resets, He restores the parts of you that were buried under the weight of others. You lived so long in sacrifice that you forgot you had dreams. He is calling those dreams to wake up. You became so used to endurance that you forgot you once had desire. He is inviting that desire to rise again. You became so used to waiting for opportunities for others that you forgot you also have a voice. He is opening your mouth again, not to beg, but to declare. This reset does not push you away. It pulls you back to yourself. It unlocks the room in your soul you shut down in order to be good for everyone. It returns the pieces of you that you gave away in the wrong places. It restores the rhythm of breath you once lost beneath expectations that did not belong to you. And as you begin to walk in this new rhythm, you will notice you are no longer bending low to move forward. You are standing upright, not because you suddenly became confident, but because God is lifting you from behind. For years, you stepped back so others could step forward, but in this season, you cannot step back anymore. Not because you do not want to, but because God does not allow it. This is the season you step out of survival and step into purpose. This is the season you no longer ask for permission to exist. This is the season you no longer shrink to keep the peace. This is the season you stand where you belong without feeling guilty. And you will discover something you never believed before. You were never small. You simply lived too long in a space too narrow for your true stature. Now that God is resetting your life, that space will crack open, expand, and you must receive it as the most natural thing. Not because you are greater, not because you deserve more than others, but because God says enough. Psalm 27:10 speaks a truth you once believed was never meant for you. Though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me. This verse is not only about abandonment, it speaks of the deep sense of displacement that those who are chosen must carry as part of their journey. You never understood why you were always set apart from the crowd, why relationships you tried so hard to hold still slipped through your fingers, why the groups you longed to belong to never fully opened their doors. You thought it was your fault, that you were not interesting enough, not fitting enough, not enough like everyone else. But in truth, it was a design so precise that only when you look back do you realize it was never random. You were pulled out of rooms where your soul did not belong. You were pushed away from tables your identity had already outgrown. You were placed in silent spaces others call loneliness, but heaven calls the secret room. People did not understand you, so they avoided you. People could not grasp your depth, so you felt too intense. People could not bear your purity, so you felt too different. Yet these very things are proof that you were set apart long before you knew you were chosen. There were nights you sat alone, wondering why you always stood at the edges, why your heart seemed to beat out of rhythm with those around you. You watched others connect with ease, blend in with ease, belong with ease, while you struggled just to not feel out of place. You thought it was a wound, but it was a sign that you were being prepared for something no one around you would ever have to carry. A sign that you were not created to dissolve into the crowd, but to lead it. A sign that your soul needed space to hear what others could not hear. God never trains His people in noise. He trains them in quiet. And your solitude, painful as it was, became the furnace He used to shape a rare strength, the kind that stands firm without applause. In that space, you learned to rise without being lifted, to believe without being encouraged, to listen to God instead of the crowd. You learn to see people with discernment, to sense truth beneath appearances, to know who enters your life to give and who enters your life to take. Isolation made you think you were becoming weaker, but in reality it shaped the version of you that the coming seasons will require. Others build strength with their hands. You build strength with your soul. Others are strong when surrounded. You are strongest when alone. Others are easily moved by praise or criticism. You stand through silence and misunderstanding. This is not personality. This is evidence of being chosen. You were not abandoned. You were set apart. You were not undervalued. You were hidden. You were not forgotten. You were protected from what could have damaged the person you are becoming. The solitude you once resented is the very gift that shaped you into the one this new season requires. And then comes the moment when those years begin to shine from within you. You no longer spend energy trying to please anyone. You no longer worry whether you fit here or there. You no longer push yourself into conversations not meant for you. Instead, others begin to notice something within you that makes them pause. You speak little, but they listen deeply. You appear gently, but they feel you strongly. You do not seek attention, yet attention finds you. This is the first sign of elevation. However, before the journey continues, there is something important: your connection with those who walk the same path. You no longer have to go through seasons alone like before. Now, as you hear these words and feel your heart respond, it is not coincidence. It is confirmation that you are standing in the right moment, the right atmosphere, the right frequency. God is awakening in the chosen ones. If you feel your isolation was not meaningless, if you are beginning to see that the years of being misunderstood were in fact preparing you for something greater, leave a word below to show that you are not the only one walking through this dark place. Not to complain, not to pity yourself, but to acknowledge the spiritual journey you are stepping into. And if you want to stay in this flow, to hear what this season is unfolding for those like you, you can subscribe as a way of placing yourself among a community of awakened souls. It is not an advertisement. It is an invitation to remain if this feels like the place you belong. Because from here, the journey is no longer about loneliness. It is about rising, and this rising begins in the very silence that once made you think you were forgotten. You were not forgotten. You were set apart. And this setting apart is about to become the clearest proof that you have never taken a wrong step. Psalm 18:19 says, "He brought me out into a spacious place. He rescued me because he delighted in me." This verse does not speak only of deliverance. It speaks of the moment God enlarges the space around someone who has lived too long inside the narrowness of being underestimated. You were kept in the shadows not because you lacked light, but because your light was too strong for those around you to face. There were years you walked into rooms where people pretended not to see you. You contributed to things no one ever mentioned your name for. You stood behind the success of others while no one knew how much sweat you poured out. You did what was right and received what was wrong. You chose kindness and were seen as weak. You kept your heart pure and were judged as not sharp enough to be trusted with significance. You thought it was failure, but God saw it as preparation. You believed you were overlooked because you were not good enough. But in truth, you were overlooked because people saw you through limited eyes, while God sees you through the eyes of the one who formed you. When he says enough, he does not only end the suffering, he ends the distorted lens others have used to define you. And that is the reversal you are about to enter, a reversal none of them expected. There were people who thought they could keep you small. They grew used to your silence, so they assumed you had no voice. They grew used to you stepping back, so they assumed you had no stature. They grew used to you carrying the load, so they assumed you never grew tired. They grew used to your patience, so they assumed you would endure forever. But they did not know your silence was not weakness. It was the season heaven was shaping you. They did not know your humility was not lack of value. It was the inner discipline God gives to those who carry great responsibility. They did not know your quiet was not the end. It was the gathering of strength before the unveiling. When God brings you into a spacious place, the first thing that changes is not your environment, but the spiritual atmosphere around you. You walk into a room and people feel something different before you say a word. You no longer blend in. You are no longer invisible. The light within you becomes so clear that those who once dismissed you cannot ignore you. They look longer. They listen deeper. They sense something in you they never noticed before. It is not because you became louder. It is because God elevated the sound of your soul. You do not need to prove anything. Your presence now answers for you. You do not need to fight for attention. The new light in you places you where you belong. You do not need to reclaim what was yours. God is placing it back into your hands himself, not through your striving. What surprises people is not the success you are stepping into, but the calmness you carry as doors open wide. They were used to your gentle posture, so when you stand tall, they are startled. They were used to your acceptance, so when you say no, they freeze. They were used to you staying in the background, so when you step into the center, they must adjust their view of you. But that adjustment does not come from them. It comes from God, the one who has decided that no one is allowed to see you through the old lens anymore. The beautiful thing is that this rising does not make you proud. You are not stepping up to get even. You are not speaking louder to prove a point. You are not using your new place to make others feel small. You are simply stepping into the space that has always been yours, the space you should have walked into long ago. But God held you back to protect you from wounds of seasons not yet ripe. He hid you from distorted perceptions until you were strong enough that no one could twist your true nature again. And now, as you rise, the world must adjust. Not you adjusting to them, they must adjust to you. They can no longer underestimate you. They can no longer misuse your kindness. They can no longer place you in low spaces you do not belong in. Your rising forces them to reconsider the way they once treated you, and some will not be able to handle that. You will notice some people drifting away, not because you did anything wrong. Your new light reveals what they once hid. You will notice some people shifting their tone, not because they value you more, but because they fear losing their old advantage. You will notice some trying to get close again, not because they understand you, but because they realize you are no longer someone they can dismiss. But do not worry. This is not the season to explain yourself. This is not the season to fix others' perspectives. This is not the season to chase anyone. This is the season you stand at the height God appointed for you. And anyone who wants to walk with you must raise their frequency, not pull you back down. You are stepping out of a darkness you did not know you had become familiar with. And as the light touches you, you will realize a powerful truth. You were never small. You were simply placed in the wrong position. This lifting is not a change. It is a restoration. Now the new door is open not for you to try. It is open for you to enter the very thing you have been prepared for all this time. No darkness can hold you anymore. No word can shrink you anymore. No underestimation can touch you anymore. God has brought you into a spacious place, and from this moment on, you will never return to the narrow space again. You have walked through seasons of being overlooked, but this season is no longer about how others treat you. It is about what you allow near you. When God lifts you, the first thing that changes is not what you gain, but what you no longer accept. You begin to feel clearly that there are attitudes you cannot tolerate anymore, words you cannot ignore anymore, and types of relationships your soul will never step into again, not because you have become difficult, but because you have discovered your true worth, and that worth requires a completely new standard of living. You once grew comfortable pleasing people. You once endured carelessness because you believed keeping peace mattered more. You once allowed relationships to drain you because you believed kindness meant limitless sacrifice. But when God opens your eyes, the things you once called normal suddenly become things you cannot allow. This shift does not come from pain. It comes from awakening. You no longer live from the posture of someone grateful to be included, but from the posture of someone living with purpose. When someone enters a season of elevation, their soul becomes sensitive to the things that once trapped them. You begin to see relationships you thought were safe were actually places where your emotions were taken advantage of. You begin to see that promises people made so easily were ropes meant to keep you beneath them. You begin to see that the demands placed on you were never about respect. They were about habit, because people assumed you would never say no. But that was the old version of you, the version still governed by compassion without boundaries, easily forgiving, believing that love meant endless endurance. Now you stand in a different light. That light helps you distinguish unconditional love from conditional exploitation. It helps you distinguish kindness from compliance. It helps you see that giving is beautiful. But giving until you disappear is not what God calls you to. You begin to build boundaries you once feared to have. And the strange thing is that when you build boundaries, peace returns. No more days of overload. No more moments you pretend you are fine when you are not. No more stretching yourself just to get through. You begin to feel a strength you never recognized before. The strength of refusal. The strength of no. The strength of placing yourself where God intended, not where people conveniently placed you. What is beautiful is that these boundaries do not make you distant. They make you clear. They do not make you proud. They make you awake. They do not make you lonely. They make you free. You realize you no longer need anyone to confirm your worth. That worth has been confirmed by God long ago. You simply had not believed it. And when you finally believe it, you begin to live like someone with purpose, not someone trying to earn a place. This season, you will find yourself turning down invitations you once accepted immediately. You will walk away from conversations that disturb your peace. You will stay silent in the face of manipulation you once tried to explain. You will step out of relationships that no longer reflect who you truly are, not because you think you are better than they are, but because you know your soul can no longer endure energy that does not belong to you. And as you rebuild these standards, you step into the level that belongs to you. No more stepping down to keep others comfortable. No more shrinking your emotions so no one calls you too sensitive. No more exchanging your peace for someone else's approval. You live with a spiritual integrity that not everyone will understand. But the truth is, you do not need them to understand. Those who belong with you will rise to meet you. Those who do not will drift away on their own. This is the season you learn that kindness has limits, but dignity does not. Gentleness can be soft, but value cannot be shaken. Patience can be long, but your time can no longer be wasted. When God lifts you, He does not only open doors, He teaches you which doors to enter and which ones to walk past. This growth makes you mature in ways no one could teach you. You begin to understand that what God calls you to always requires a sacred space. Not everyone is allowed into that space. Not everyone carries the purity, honesty, or respect your journey demands. You will feel yourself grow lighter as the old things fall away. You will breathe deeper when you no longer carry relationships that do not give life. You will feel safer when you realize that distance is not loss. Distance is protection. And then comes the moment you look at the boundaries you build today and realize they were never born from pain, but from understanding. You understand that the safety of your soul matters more than the comfort of others. You understand that true love never asks you to lose yourself. You understand that humility does not mean letting others walk over you. You understand you cannot fulfill God's purpose for you if you keep letting people pull you into battles that are not yours. This is the pivotal point in your rising. The degree to which you protect your peace determines the height you can fly. And now, as you begin to say no to the things that once drained you, you are saying yes to the life God wrote for you from the beginning. A life not demanded from, not taken from, not pressed into someone else's mold. A life with room for you to breathe, to grow, to shine, to live from your true depth. And you will realize something powerful. Boundaries do not make you hard to love. Boundaries make you strong, clear, and magnetic to the right people. Those who fight your boundaries do not belong in this new season. Those who honor them become extensions of the peace God is building within you. You are entering a season where your firmness becomes a form of worship. When you protect what God placed in you, you honor the one who gave it. And from here on, you will no longer accept anything that pulls your soul back into the old darkness. Your intuition is sharpening in ways even you cannot fully explain. It does not come from books. It does not come from someone's teaching. It comes from the years you were placed in quiet spaces where others had no idea how deep those seasons truly were. In the past, you often ignored the feeling that something was not right because you wanted to believe the best in people. You convinced yourself that everyone had reasons, everyone had weak moments, everyone deserved another chance. But now, what was once vague has become so clear you cannot overlook it anymore. You hear one sentence and your soul already knows whether someone is sincere or not. You look into someone's eyes and you understand what they want from you. You stand beside someone for a few minutes and something within you whispers whether to stay or walk away. This ability is not suspicion. It is awakening. It is the result of seasons where you were hurt so deeply that there is no room left for old innocence. It is a gift God placed in you to protect the new path unfolding ahead. You once thought you were simply too trusting, but the truth is that you did not want to see what was wrong in others. You made excuses for them. You blamed yourself. You told yourself you were too sensitive. But now, as you rise, every layer of fog is lifted. What others hide, you see. What they do not say, you feel. Compliments without sincerity carry the sound of calculation. Apologies without change reveal themselves as attempts to keep you in your old orbit. And what surprises you most is this: you do not have to try to see through anything. You do not analyze, you do not overthink, you do not investigate. Knowing comes like breathing. It comes because your soul has grown, has matured, has been refined by fire. You do not force clarity. You have become clarity. In the past, you often walked into situations that hurt you because you could not see the signs. Now it is different. Warnings come from afar, long before you get pulled in. You hear someone's story and know what they are hiding. You smile politely while knowing you must keep your distance. You sense the energy of a room and know instantly what is safe and what is not. You see beneath certain acts of kindness a desire to control. You see under fake empathy the intention to gather information. You hear advice and recognize it is not meant to lift you, but to keep you where someone feels comfortable. This is not a skill meant for judging others. This is a shield meant to protect you. This new season requires you to walk high and walk far, and you cannot carry the things that once slowed you down. God will not let you be wounded by what you have already outgrown. He will not let you be trapped in relationships that were really nets. He will not let you fall into emotional whirlpools created by those who refuse to heal. He gives you spiritual eyes so you know who is truly meant to walk with you and who is here only to drain the light in you. Something interesting happens when your intuition sharpens. You start speaking less, not because you fear speaking, but because you no longer feel the need to explain. You see someone's true motive and choose silence over debate. You hear flattery and simply smile instead of believing it. You watch someone try to twist the story, and you simply step back so they cannot reach you. Your silence is no longer fear. It is self-control. And then you realize this clarity frees you from battles that once exhausted you. You no longer try to prove your good intentions. You no longer try to explain that you meant no harm. You no longer try to reveal truth to people who have no desire to see it. You no longer lose sleep because someone misunderstood you. You understand now that those who belong to you will feel your heart, and those who do not will never stand with you anyway. The clearer you become, the more peace you carry, because you no longer walk blind. You no longer hand your heart to people who do not deserve to hold it. You no longer waste energy on conversations that bear no fruit. You no longer allow anyone to pull you back into the old life where you had to apologize, explain, and sacrifice yourself just to keep the peace. In this season, your intuition becomes a compass. It points the direction before you see the path. It pulls you back before you stumble. It leads you into safety before you even suspect danger. It makes you strong not by hardness, but by clarity. And that clarity protects your energy, your time, and your spirit for what God is building next. From here, you will no longer be fooled by charm, soft words, or friendly masks, not because you have become bitter, but because you finally understand your worth. And when you know how precious what you carry is, you will not place it in the hands of anyone who cannot honor it. This awakening does not make you distant. It makes you wise. It does not make you afraid of people. It helps you choose the right people. It does not make you suspicious. It makes you discerning. This is the soft weapon God gives to protect you from what once brought you down. You are entering a season where your protection does not come from an outer shell. Your protection comes from your own light. Psalm 91:4 says, "He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge." This was once a comforting verse you heard as a child, but now it has become a reality you live with every breath. Because in this season, God's protection is no longer a vague spiritual idea. It is a covering, a cloak you cannot see, but you constantly feel. The things that used to break you no longer reach you. You begin to walk with a strange certainty, as if something is guarding you from behind, ahead, and on both sides. Not loud, not dramatic, but clear, like a gentle hand stopping anything that does not belong to you from getting too close. You notice it before you understand it. Conversations that used to drain you no longer affect you the same way. Subtle comments that once kept you awake no longer pierce you. People who made you feel wrong, small, or not enough suddenly fade, as if the power they once had over you has been taken away. This is not because you have become hard. This is because God is shielding you in a way too obvious for you to deny. You once believed you had to fight for your own safety. You thought you had to be smarter, more guarded, more alert. But God's covering does not come from your effort. It comes from His authority. There were things that used to hit you so hard, you wondered how you would ever get up. Yet now they slide off you as if they cannot find anywhere to attach. You look back and ask, why does this not hurt anymore? And the answer is simple. You are no longer exposed to life the way you once were. You are wrapped by the one who chose you. You will see this difference clearly in your relationships. Before, you attracted people who came to unload their pain, take your energy, or lean on you without ever giving back. But now, under God's covering, those same people no longer reach you easily. They come close but feel uncomfortable. They want to demand but no longer have access. They want to pull you into their chaos. But every rope they throw falls short, not because you have shut yourself off, but because God no longer allows those energies to cling to your soul. You will also notice that the things that once terrified you have lost their voice. The subtle threats, the criticism, the emotional pressure you carried in silence no longer activate anything inside you. It is as if someone blocks those arrows before they even fly toward you. You do not hear them the way you used to. They arrive and vanish without leaving a trace. That is not because people changed. That is because God has raised a wall around you that no one can cross. The strange thing is this: when God covers you, you do not feel cut off from the world. You feel freer. You no longer have to guess who is genuine. You no longer chase after opinions. You no longer replay conversations to make sure you did nothing wrong. This protection gives you a peace that does not come from good circumstances, but from knowing you are wrapped in the love of a God who never sleeps. When you step into places that once made you tremble, the trembling disappears. When you stand before people who once made you shrink, you no longer lower your head. When you hear words that once wounded you, they no longer carry weight. Not because you are numb, but because your soul now lives in a higher spiritual climate where low things cannot climb. You will find that situations dangerous to your soul get stopped before you even understand why. A meeting gets canceled at the right moment. A decision you were about to make suddenly feels wrong. A person with harmful intentions quietly drifts away. A misleading opportunity closes just before you step into it. You call it coincidence, but it is God's protection intervening long before you see the danger. There were things you once begged God to deliver you from, but in this season, He is not only delivering, He is preventing. He blocks things in their earliest form. He redirects your path so you never meet the trap. He separates you from someone before you even realize they were unsafe. He does all of it before you understand why it needed to happen. And the deeper truth is this: His covering is not only for your safety, it is for your preparation. A soul called to higher ground needs a stability the world cannot provide. At that height, you cannot be distracted by people's words. You cannot be slowed by smallness. You cannot be shaken by jealousy. You cannot shrink under doubt. His protection is shaping you so you will not be pulled down when He begins to lift you up. When someone is covered by God, they walk differently, not with arrogance, but with peace, not with a confrontational gaze, but with eyes bright and steady, not with a guarded heart, but with a heart so deeply assured of being loved that it feels safe anywhere. This is the posture of someone who knows that anything not meant for them cannot touch them, and anything meant for them will never be lost. This covering makes you realize something you never truly believed. You are not walking alone, you never were. And now, as you take your next steps, heaven is walking with you. There comes a moment in the journey when you realize you cannot walk with everyone, not because you have become different, but because you finally see who is walking for you and who was only walking for what they could take from you. Elevation does not just move you into a new place. It strips away layers of people, layers of relationships, layers of emotions you once held on to just to feel less alone. But when your soul rises higher, some things can no longer rise with you. And what you once feared most, losing people, becomes the very thing that sets you free first. You were used to holding on, holding people who could no longer walk with you, holding conversations that had no life left, holding relationships that no longer reflected your true value, holding promises even the ones who made them no longer remembered. You held on because you loved. You held on because you were loyal. You held on because you never wanted anyone to think you abandoned them, but you never realized that for God to lift you, you must learn to release before your hands tear. In this season, letting go happens quietly. No drama, no goodbye speech. It happens as naturally as breathing, as if life itself gently nudges certain people out of your orbit. You watch some relationships fade without knowing why. You notice some people no longer reach for you the way they used to. You feel certain situations that once tied your emotions now lose their grip. You think you have changed, but the truth is you are simply rising into the frequency you were always meant to live in. The most painful truth is also the clearest. Some people do not leave because of your flaws. They leave because the light you now carry no longer matches the darkness they are comfortable with. They once liked you when you made yourself small, when you were easy to give, easy to convince, easy to empathize beyond reason. But when you begin to stand tall, when you recognize your worth, when you set boundaries, you are no longer comfortable for them. And that moment reveals who truly belongs in your journey. You once feared departure. Now you begin to appreciate it because you realize a truth only a mature soul can understand. Loss does not always take something from you. Sometimes it returns space for what is right. There are people you owe gratitude to, not because they stayed, but because they left. Their leaving gives you back the time you lost. Their leaving gives you back your voice. Their leaving shows you how much you lowered yourself just to hold something no longer meant for you. And their leaving proves you no longer need approval, love, or kindness from places that could never produce it. In this separation, your soul becomes lighter, lighter from unreasonable expectations, lighter from responsibilities that were never yours, lighter from the fear of being misunderstood, lighter from emotional cycles that drained you, so light that you wonder why you did not walk away sooner. But do not blame yourself. You stayed then because your heart was beautiful, and you leave now because your heart is still beautiful, only wiser. And as some walk out, new doors open. You begin to meet people who are calmer, deeper, truer. They do not come to take. They come to walk with you. They do not want your light. They want to add theirs beside it. They do not come to fill a void. They come because they see your worth without needing an explanation. These are the ones drawn to the version of you that is growing, not intimidated by it. In the midst of this shift, you will notice a number repeating in your life, not to scare you, but to confirm your path. The number 555, the mark of major transition, double grace, and doors opening without you having to push. This is the number of those stepping out of a chapter they stayed in too long and entering the chapter their soul has awaited since the beginning. If you are seeing this number on clocks, receipts, or anywhere at all, it is not coincidence. It is a reminder that your life is being restructured from the foundation. And if something stirs in your chest when you hear 555, it is not a passing feeling. It is resonance. It is God whispering, I am shifting you upward. If you want, you can share whether this number has touched you, not to decorate the comment section, but to mark a moment in your own spiritual journey. What matters is not who walks with you. What matters is who can stand when God raises you. And when He lifts you, those who do not belong at that height will fall away like leaves at the end of their season. You do not have to push anyone. You do not have to explain to anyone. You only need to keep walking, and what no longer matches will fall away on its own. Because departure does not make you smaller. Departure creates space for what truly belongs to you. You have walked through seasons that felt like they would end you, yet they were shaping you for the height you are now about to enter. Others look at you and see someone ordinary, but they have no idea you survived things that would have crushed them if even a fraction had been placed on their shoulders. You did not just endure, you were forged. You did not just make it through, you were remade. No classroom ever taught you the lessons you paid for with tears, with loneliness, with silence so long it felt like it sat in your throat. Yet every one of those moments built in you a strength the world has no word for. You thought the times your heart broke were failures. but they were moments your soul expanded. You thought you were weak for crying over small things, but those tears showed you what truly touched your core. You thought you lost when people left, when opportunities slipped away, when promises evaporated, but those losses were simply removing what was not allowed to go with you into the new season. What remained was not fragments, it was foundation. There were days you thought you were going backward, but you were not going back. You were being turned. There were nights you thought you hit bottom, but the bottom is the only place you can push upward from. You have endured enough to learn how to stand, but also enough to know that real strength is not hardness. It is the ability to bend without breaking, to be deep without drowning, to be shattered and still carry your worth. Others pass hardship with luck, with help, with favorable circumstances, but you overcame by the most honest part of yourself, by patience you did not know you had, by faith you thought you lost, but quietly waited to rise again, by a will no one saw but God, who noticed every trembling step of it, and he used all of it to make you unbreakable. You feel yourself changing, but this change does not come from effort. It comes from being too tired to act out the old role. You no longer pretend to be fine. You no longer chase what is not yours. You no longer try to be the strongest one in the room. And in that letting go, your real strength appears. You do not have to shout to be heard. You do not have to fight to prove your worth. You do not have to act cold to prove you have healed. You yourself, with everything you have lived through, is enough to make you steady as stone. You begin to walk through challenges with a different spirit, not because you are numb, but because you have seen things so big that small things cannot shake you anymore. You know what to hold, what to release, what to say, what to leave in silence, what to fight for, and what to walk away from without explanation. This is not natural wisdom. It is wisdom carved out of pain. Some say you are not the same, but how could you be? They did not live your nights. They did not walk through your fears. They did not face your questions alone. When a soul endures enough trials, it does not turn to ashes, it turns to fire. And you are fire, not to burn others, but to light the path you are about to walk. You begin to sense clearly that nothing can break you the way it once did. Emotional blows that once crushed you now only wake you. Criticism that once made you shrink now makes you stand taller. Failures that once confused you now help you correct your direction. You no longer react with your old patterns. You respond with a peace you did not know you had. This is not indifference, it is maturity. In this season, you are no longer someone merely surviving. You are someone turning everything that once hurt you into fuel. You look back and realize that everything that once brought you to your knees is the very thing helping you stand tall now. Everything that once made you want to give up is what taught you that you cannot be defeated. Everyone who ever wounded you will watch you rise in ways they cannot understand. You were forged not to survive. You were forged to lead. A soul chosen for purpose never goes through small trials. They walk through things big enough to break them, yet those things fail to do so. And that is the first sign of calling. You once believed you continued because you were lucky, but no. You continued because you were kept. You continued because your purpose is bigger than your pain. You continued because the world has no replacement for the version of you born for what you are meant to do. Now you are no longer just someone who has survived much. You have become someone who cannot be overcome. The world around you is beginning to shift without you having to do anything. You walk into a room and the atmosphere moves with you. People cannot explain it, but they feel it. Some feel peace. Some feel exposed. Some feel small in the presence of the clarity in your eyes. Your presence is no longer something people overlook. It becomes something they must face, must adjust to, must respect. You no longer search for your place in the crowd. Your place reveals itself every time you step into the height. Your soul has been trained for all these years. What surprises you is that you do nothing loud to create this. You do not try to appear strong, yet people feel strength in you. You do not try to speak much, yet your words shift the air when they land. You do not try to impress anyone, yet your calmness draws every eye. You do not try to lead, yet people look to you for direction. This is not the charm of personality. This is the vibration lifted by God, a soul that has walked through darkness, seen through deception, and kept its heart from turning hard, carries a kind of weight that makes the world grow quiet in its presence. You will begin to notice different reactions from those around you. Some will be inspired by you. They look at you and see what they themselves could become. They start fixing themselves, healing themselves, adjusting how they live. Your presence awakens the hidden potential they forgot they had. Not because you demand they change, but because your light reveals the parts of them that want to rise. But there will also be those who feel uneasy. Your rising exposes the distance they do not want to acknowledge. They will not resist you with loud words, but with unpredictable silence, uneasy glances, or quiet discomfort they cannot name. But this will no longer shake you, because you know light does not ask permission before it shines. And then there will be people who simply cannot leave you anymore, not because you hold them, but because they recognize that you carry something they need: clarity, peace, honesty, depth. You become a spiritual anchor for souls searching for direction. You do not teach them with speeches. You teach them with the way you live, with choices that do not waver, with peace you carry even in chaos, with honesty that does not hurt but does not bend, truth. When God elevates someone, their influence does not come from effort. It comes from essence. You do not have to prove you are worthy. You only need to walk truthfully, and that truth becomes a call. Those meant for your journey will recognize it. Those not meant for it will move away. You do not have to choose them. Your purpose chooses for you. This influence is not only over people, it also opens the flow of resources that were once held back from your life. In previous seasons, no matter how hard you tried, doors stayed closed. You knocked and nothing opened. You asked and received only long waiting. But now, you do not need to knock. Doors open on their own. You do not chase opportunity. Opportunity finds you. You do not prove your value. Life rearranges itself to bring you where your value is seen. This is when you realize resources come not because you did better, but because your soul grew deeper. Inner maturity creates space for what belongs to you to overflow into your life. Not just opportunity, but the right people at the right time. Handshakes that are not manipulative deals, but real connections. Invitations that no longer confuse you, but speak clearly like signs. New doors that hold no traps, but carry confirmation. And you understand everything is coming from one source, the God who has patiently prepared you in silence for years. And then comes the moment you stand alone at this new height and realize something you never felt so clearly before. Your purpose cannot be extinguished. You may be delayed. You may be wounded. You may be misunderstood. You may be rejected. But you cannot be diverted. Something inside you, a cord stronger than steel, keeps you on the path even when you do not know where you are heading. And that is not your strength. It is the guidance of the one who placed that purpose in you from the beginning. Only one more psalm completes this journey, rising like the final confirmation of the new season. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Psalm 37:7, not waiting like someone weary, but like someone who knows with certainty that what lies ahead cannot be stopped by any force. External noise no longer disturbs your mind. External opinions no longer shift your direction. External delays no longer make you doubt yourself, because you know you are moving in the hand of a God who never misses. And as you step into this stage, you will understand the ultimate truth of the chosen. Nothing and no one can stop what God has ordained for you. Not jealousy, not betrayal, not delay, not silence, not the dark seasons you once feared. All of it was preparation so the strength you carry today would be enough to hold you steady in the light He is bringing you into. You are not surviving anymore. You are rising. And this new height will be etched onto your life as a testament that no one can diminish the one God has decided to lift.
Grateful that you chose to spend these moments in the light of this story. If it touched your soul, please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the bell so the next whisper of light may find its way back to you.